of those who go back to work. So what this stat is saying, because I read it all funny, is the ones who are going back to work are not the lower income people, but the higher income people who have worked and worked and strived for a standard of living that they can no longer sustain. They can no longer enjoy the things they worked for because they can't afford it. So they have to go back and work to afford the big house, to afford the cabin, the timeshare, the boat, the RV, the whatever it is. They have to go back so they can finish paying the bills. Also, catch this. So 77% of our country's wealth is in people over 50. 77% of prescription drugs are sold to people who are over 50. Now, some of that is prescription for the aches and pains of the body, but I think a lot of that is for the aches and pains of the heart, for depression, for bipolarity, for people who have set their hopes. And there's a lot of biological reasons for depression and bipolarity, but I think there's also people have set their hopes, set all of their work and all of their striving towards something that when they got there, it didn't pay off. It didn't deliver what it had promised. And so it brings us back to our question. What are we living for? Are we living to work for status, for a bigger house, for more money so that we can buy trinkets and toys that we think are going to make us happy and yet are going to leave us even more empty than when we had nothing? What are we living for? What are we finding fulfillment in? Where's our joy come from? It's never enough. That's what these people are finding, I believe. They're retiring, and what they thought was going to bring them happiness, what they'd worked for their whole life, was not enough. And one of the reasons I believe that is because what Solomon's going to tell us in these next verses. Chapter 5, verse 10. He who loves money will not be satisfied with money, nor he who loves wealth with his income. This is vanity, is meaninglessness. When goods increase, they increase who eat them, and what advantage has their owner but to see them with his own eyes? Okay, that's a really weird, what that means. When goods increase, it increases the responsibility of those who own them. All right? I have seen people who have gotten a cabin that's supposed to be their retreat away from the busyness of the city, and what do? They spend most of their time freaking out about the trees that are about to fall over on their house and having to repair everything around the cabin that the winter destroyed while they weren't there. And so instead of having this place where they could go and rest, they have this place that's just like the house, but they have to drive really far to it. So all those home repairs they got to worry about are now up in the mountains inconveniently. Now it takes a dirt road to get to all the hard work you got to do. Now you got to haul it not just to the city dump and pay, you got to haul it to the next county just so you can dump it. That it increases, that the more you gain, the more responsibility. This even goes for work. The more responsibility you get at work, the more success you get, the more your boss goes, you're the man, I'm handing this to you. The longer the hours are you're going to be in the office, the more the weight of the company's success and failure starts to come upon your shoulders. And I'm not saying these are bad things. I'm not saying these are bad things. But they don't deliver what they promise. See, look at this. When goods increase, they increase who eat them. And what advantage has the owner but to see them with his own eyes? So you get all these trinkets with all of your success at work. You get the boat and the RV only to pull into the garage at 8 o'clock at night, not able to take your boat out to the lake because you had to stay late. Your eyes get to enjoy them. Oh, that's a nice boat I own. Whoop, garage door, go to bed. But verse 12, sweet is the sleep of a laborer, whether he eats little or much, but the full stomach of the rich will not let him sleep. So the rich pays for their nice caviar and $20 plate dinners just so they can have it give them an ulcer later when they get stressed out. This is I read stuff like this in the Bible, and I think it's so hard sometimes, not always, but sometimes, to reconcile the gospel with the American dream. Because he's saying, you know what the drywaller does? He goes home, and his back's aching, so the bed feels really good. It feels really good, because he's been working all day, and he can feel satisfied with the hard work he put in, and he can put that back to rest. Because you know what the drywaller's not doing? He's not sitting in bed going, man, I hope the price of drywall doesn't drop on the stock market tomorrow when I wake up and totally put all my investments down the tube. I mean, he's worried, is the price going to rise or fall, but it don't matter. Drywall's still got to go on a wall. He's not wondering, is drywall going to take company resources and manage it poorly? He's not worried, is drywall going to run off with my secretary and totally extort me for all my money? No, because he knows tomorrow, drywall, it's going to hammer into the 2x4s just like it did the day before. And drywall is going to be just as big of a pain of a butt as it was yesterday. But it ain't going to change. I'm still going to have to plaster it, get to paint it, and it's going to be there tomorrow. It ain't going to run away. The laborer doesn't worry about that stuff. The laborer just goes, I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to enjoy my bed. And the next day, I'm going to work hard again, and my bed's going to feel good again. But haven't you seen the successful person? I'd actually like to ask Brian. This would be funny. I should have asked him this. He works at a mattress store. I bet most of the people going to the mattress store aren't actually your drywallers. I bet a few of them are like, I could use a good bed. But I bet most of them are well-to-do guys, business owners who have a lot of stress and they can't get a good night's sleep, so they're blaming it on their mattress, not the stress in their life. They're tossing and turning. They're like, dirty mattress, ah! But they don't know if their client's going to be there tomorrow. And they never attribute it to the stress and for their striving after more, and they're putting their hope in their success. See, we do this. It is the American dream. A better life. Straight A's. Got to get straight A's. More money. I need to get more money so I can get more stuff and provide more for my family. I need more success so I can feel better about myself. I am a district manager. Do you guys ever see that Will Ferrell skit where he's yelling at his daughter? He doesn't even know his daughter, but he's yelling at her. I drive a Dodge Stratus. I'm a district manager. People fear me, right? That's the dream, power, success. A perfect home, right? We got to get a good home. Got to keep it clean. Oh my gosh, if anyone comes over and they see that there's a little bit of ketchup next to the fridge, they're going to totally freak out. What are they going to think of me? Anyone want to confess that right now? Anyone? It's all right. This is a safe environment. All right, we got a few. I got to worry about having the perfect home. My kids need to look good. Don't get in the dirt, son. 5-year-olds should not get in the dirt. They need to keep their Gap kids' clothes clean. We're going to have a perfect family, by goodness, and we're going to be happy. We're going to have a perfect home, right? And it's just stress. And so this neighborhood isn't good enough. This isn't the neighborhood I see on TV. I want that neighborhood, but that requires a pay raise, so I've got to find a new job and work harder to make more money so we can go live in this nice neighborhood where the hedges are always so nicely trimmed and the sidewalks are extra wide. For all the big Americans who eat big meals and get really big. And sometimes it means I can't live in Podunk Grand Junction. I got to move to the metro area. I'm going to go to Denver. Highlands Ranch, right? You can't live here. You got to go to where people have a cosmopolitan view of life, so you got to move to a new city, and you got to get the new house. Sometimes you got to get the new spouse, and that's the way America goes. Sometimes you just got to get a spouse. That's how but you're going to better your life, by golly. You're going to strive because it's what you love. It's what we've put our hope in. The next thing that's going to make us happy, a better body. I think it's funny. My wife keeps her car extremely dirty. It's one of those fun dinner conversations that we have. And we were talking about it last night, and she's like, I went to Gold's Gym, and I looked in all the cars because we're always talking about this, and it made me think about it, and they're all clean. Every car. Not a thing in them. Not one thing. And I was like, yeah, but you got to realize those are the people, most of those people are there because they've got to get the perfect chiseled abs, and life's got to look good on the outside. So we're there for the perfect body, not for health, though. No, we're not there for health, are we? No, we're there for the image. if we were there for health, they wouldn't put mirrors everywhere. It helps form. All right, fine. And so we got to get the better body so we can have the better image and strive. And yeah, I'll pay for the new gym, the one with the big theater, because the old gym, the weights, gravity still worked. It was really weird. Gravity still did the thing where I pull it up and then it pulls it back down. But I want the one with the movie screen because it's cooler. And so I got to pay more. I'm going to strive for more. So we want the better body. We want the better face. Right? We got to get the better face. We got to go to the guy who's going to cut it just right, and he's going to raise it, lift it, stretch it, remove it, add it. So we can get that image, so we can strive after whatever it is that's going to make us happy. I'm in the church. It's moral perfection. I'm going to prove to everyone that I'm a good person. I got to be a good person. I've got to be a good person. And there's this guilt hanging over us that we're not good enough. And so we strive to be good. And that's going to be our hope, man, when we can just look like, just be that good person, that typical Christian. When we can just nail that, life's going to be okay. And see, a lot of these things are good things. I mean, it's good to be a more moral person. It's good to be healthy. There's nothing wrong with being attractive. There's not a sin, you know? Oh, God's wrath is upon you, good-looking person. You should be blessed and ugly like this one. What? Why are you offended? A good house is an okay thing. It's not a sin. Straight A's, that's good. Success, man, we should work hard. But when when good things become a God thing, that's a bad thing. I don't know if it was Martin Luther or John Edwards, not the pretty-haired candidate, affair on his wife, John Edwards, but a guy 100 years before him who was a theologian. I can't remember who it was, and it might have been one quoting the other, said that the heart is an idol factory. And what we do is we take these things and we put our hope in them and we live for them thinking they're going to bring the happiness. And we put all of our effort and all of our work into these things. And they end up becoming the things we worship. They end up becoming the things we worship. So when a good thing becomes a God thing, the thing that we strive after the most, work harder for, think's going to bring us joy, that becomes a bad thing. If your self-worth is put in your paycheck, in your grades, in the title that goes before your name, that's bad. Then you've put your hope in something terrible. People could quit tithing tomorrow and I could be fired from here. And if my hope is in having pastor before my name, I have ceased to put my affection in God and to draw your affections to God. And I've placed my hope in that you would put your affections in me. And that's where my affections go. See, we all have those things in our life, whether it's a spouse. When I have a spouse, I'll be happy. No, you won't. You'll just have your unhappiness pointed out to you every day. Mine doesn't do that. I'm actually the one who probably does that. That's me. But you've seen it, the nagging spouse. It's better to live on the corner of a roof than with a nagging wife, says Proverbs. Kid you not, it's in there. And right after that it says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man strengthens another. Guys' night. That's all I'm trying to say, guys' night. But all this striving doesn't bring us happiness. And yet just being satisfied in your work, you'll sleep well at night. You'll sleep well. The dry waller sleeps well, as it said in verse 14. This is a little bit, this section, we're going to get through chapter 6, I know, you can't believe it. And so we're going to quickly skip over this like Lucky Charms, okay? You eat the whole grain cereal, and then you go back for the marshmallows. That's how we're going to roll through this section. Just a little more whole grain, and then we'll come back for the marshmallows. We're going to jump to the beginning of chapter 6. And so here it is. There's an evil I have seen under the sun, and it lies heavily on mankind. A man to whom God gives wealth, possessions, and honor. Good things, right? Honor, a good name. People are like, yeah, that's Steve. Steve's a good guy. I like Steve. I want to be like Steve. You know, and all your coworkers go around, can I get you coffee, Steve? Wealth, possessions, those are good, right? So God gives these things, so that he lacks nothing of all that he desires, yet God doesn't give him the power to enjoy them, but a stranger enjoys them? This is an evil that I have seen under the sun. Verse 1, I was keeping us in context. This is vanity. It is a grievous evil. If a man fathers 100 children and lives many lives so that the days of his years are many. Okay, just so you know, that is the biblical definition of prosperity. Many children, many years. Just so you know, we have a stupid idea of, no, it's children. It's not how many boats or BMWs you own. It's how many kids and how long you get to live around them. That is the biblical view of prosperity. So if a man is extremely prosperous, but his soul is not satisfied with his life's good things, and he has no burial, I say that a stillborn child is better off than he. Okay, so is a stillborn child saved? What happens to a stillborn? No, that's not what it's talking about. It's a metaphor. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. I could never eat a horse, okay? Understand metaphors when you hear them. I say that a stillborn child is better off than he. He continues the metaphor. For it comes in vanity and goes in darkness, and its darkness its name is covered. Moreover, it has not seen the sun or known anything, yet it finds rest rather than he. Even though the rich man should live 1,000 years twice over, yet enjoy no good, do not all go to this one place? All the toil of man is for his mouth. His appetite is not satisfied. Catch what he's saying. If you go high or you go low on the org chart, if you're the big box or the little box, many lines down, if you don't enjoy what God has given you, it's better that you never lived at all. It's better that you never lived at all. See, we put our hopes in these things, but look what he says. He says, but another man, a stranger enjoys these things and you don't, that's a waste. Because see, we're never satisfied. That next step up is just the next step up to the next one, as I said, and on and on and on. And then you die. Take a step, you're higher. The next one you're higher, 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 the next one you're 6 feet under. If you don't enjoy it, it's better that you never live. See, a stranger, no matter what you do in life, no matter what you accomplish, no matter what you own, someone else will accomplish that, own that, fill that position, fire that position after you leave, fire it while you're still in it. No matter who you marry, someone will marry someone just as beautiful, someone just as charming, just as funny, just as muscly, just as skinny, just as huggable. It doesn't matter. Run your business. Another business will either buy it when you retire and take it over and make it do better, or they'll just let it decay and die off, but it doesn't. Target in 100 years is going to be like, yeah, it's what you shoot stuff at. What are you talking about? Walmart, they're going to be like, I have no clue. Did they like put it on the walls and sell it? What does that mean? In 100 years, like these things won't matter. No matter what you do. If you ever get a new car, like the irritating thing is a year later, they make it better. And you can still smell the new car in yours, but it's fading, you know. And maybe it's all mental. You pretend you smell it. And then they drive the new one by, and you're like, that has Bluetooth stereo. Tree, crash, and you need it, and then the insurance pays for a new one. But you get a new car, the next one comes. Someone else drives the newer one, the faster one, the bigger one, the more fuel economic one. It doesn't matter. You can own a house, but your house is probably going to outlive you, and someone else will own that house. They will plant geraniums where you planted geraniums. They will trim hedges that you trimmed. They will cut the tree down that you planted. It doesn't matter. A stranger will enjoy whatever it is you put your hope in. A stranger will eventually enjoy it. The $5 bill you pay for your coffee with will get passed on to the next person to pay for their coffee with $5. Chapter 1. Sun rises and it sets. And from where it rose, it rises again. If our hope is in these things, we will never be satisfied. It's better that we never live at all. See, you can get to the end of life, and this is what people do, is they try to find meaning at the end of their life. So what do? They become a writer. And they write a self-help book. The way I became successful. But if you go to the bookstore, there's 1,000 self-help books, and there's millions of unsuccessful people. So either they're all illiterate, or these things really don't work, and there's really another way to success, and you're not the only way to success. Every year there's a summa cum laude for those of you who are in college. Is that your goal? Is that your happiness? Summa cum laude? Well, you know what? Someone will do it right after you next year. It's not an achievement. Wonderful, but it's not a big achievement. See, it's better that you were never born at all than that you squander your life pursuing things that are empty. While I was typing that part, just a side note, I was listening to Pandora, and Rolling Stones' Can't Get No Satisfaction came on the radio. Throwing it out there. Ain't saying it's a God thing, just saying it's a little fun piece of irony. I can't get no kidding, man. Solomon said so. And I think Solomon's looking at his life. And what Solomon isn't saying, catch this, is the conversation with the wise old man who wants to pour into our lives. And what he's not saying is, I wish I would have worked a little more so I can be a little more successful. What he's not saying is, I wish I could have expanded the territory of Israel just a little bit more so we would have had a little more trade and a little more prosperity in the country. What he's not saying is, I wish I would have built my palace bigger. Because he already said that he did all those things, and he said it was meaningless and gave him no hope. I mean, the man was driven. He was the most successful king of Israel. He did it all. Coulter said something really wise last week. He said, we think worrying about stuff and busyness is getting stuff done. And it's not. Solomon is saying it's possible to worry about everything and to be very busy and to climb and to succeed and not accomplish a single thing in your life. It's possible to be king of a nation in its most prosperous time in history and not accomplish a single thing in life. Look at this. For who knows, verse 12, I'm skipping down. For who knows what is good for man while he lives the few days of his vain life, which he passes like a shadow. You know what a shadow is? Something that looks like the real thing but isn't. And a lot of success, a lot of what we put our hope in and strive for is something that looks like success in a good life but isn't. It's just a shadow. Is your life a shadow? I gotta ask, is my life a shadow? Worship team, come on up. Are we just an empty appearance of happiness? Or have we found true fulfillment? We spend so much time in the future trying to fix the past that we never live in the present. We spend so much time trying to become someone else that we're never who we really are. So what's Solomon say? He says hedonism is the goal. Hedonism is the goal. It's a really cool name that means living for pleasure. But godly hedonism, Christian hedonism, is the goal. Verse 18, behold, what I've seen to be good and fitting is to eat and drink and find enjoyment. Guys, catch that? That's biblical. It's good to eat and drink and find enjoyment in all the work, all the things that we do, which one toils under the sun the few days of life that God has given him. For this is his lot. Have you accepted your lot? Have you accepted what God has given you? Or are you striving for what you don't have, for what you could be, for what you could achieve? Or have you just accepted what you have, thanked God, and enjoyed it? See, when you get older, you're going to have to accept the wife who's aging, accept the man who seems to be losing his hearing and sanity and growing hair out of his ears. Just accept it. Just accept it. Everyone also to whom God has given wealth and possessions and the power to enjoy them and to accept his lot and rejoice in his toil, this is the gift of God. This is the gift of God. It's not laziness, it's acceptance. See, he's saying, in all your toil and all of your work, enjoy it. He's saying, work hard, that's good, accept your lot, and be at peace. We started with the Sabbath, and so that's how I'm going to end, is with the Sabbath, and a quote from Jesus, as we always do. And he said, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. And we could get into what that means religiously and trying to prove yourself by always obeying the Sabbath so people know you're righteous. But Jesus is saying, no, it's not about proving yourself in any way, whether in your work or in your relaxation, but that relaxation was given to us so that we could sit back, accept our lot, and enjoy life. How many commitments do we have? How many commitments do you have? I have way too many. I'm way too busy, way too much striving, building this, building that, organizing this, running that. Way too many commitments. When's the last time you just let go? You spend a day let go, retreating, just coming before God and listening, for it's better to listen than to do. When's the last time you stopped trying to be someone else and you were just yourself? When you stopped trying to be who others want you to be and you were just who you are. When's the last time we shut off the phone or turned off the computer or got off Facebook or quit looking at email? And just listened and Sabbath and relaxed, accepted and enjoyed. The fourth commandment is given to us, not just to obey, but with a clause that you may remember that God rescued out of Egypt, that you may remember that God created everything. And I believe it's so that we can sit and worship and hand it back to him who rescues and creates without our advice, without our effort, without our hard work. He does it for us so that we may just enjoy him. Let's worship God tonight. Let's just enjoy him and let go. Stop all this striving and just be who we are. Let's do that.
All who are thirsty, and all who are weak, come to the fountain, dip your heart in the streams of life, let the pain and the sorrow be washed away in the waves of his mercy, as deep cries out too deep, we sing, come Lord Jesus, come. Come, Lord Jesus, come. All who are thirsty, and all who are thirsty, and all who are weak, come to the fountain. Dip your heart in the streams of life, let the pain and the sorrow be washed away in the waves of his mercy, as deep cries out too deep, we say, come Lord Jesus.